Welcome to Swolehammer. Even though we love the frantic action of Warcry and the skirmish gameplay of Kill Team, there's something to be said about fielding a big army. Hence why I started Starting Sigmar. For whoever is new to the channel or series, the mission of these videos are to help new players make a fun and efficient army from a specific faction, rounding out to a 1,000-point list, which is the lowest tier of competitive play. We also want to make it easy to acquire these items and enjoyable to hobby with. The criteria are as follows. We avoid making lists with repeat models. Models need to be easily accessible either from a Games Workshop store or Amazon. I like to support local, but sometimes prices can't be beat online. All models suggested are in plastic, and we only focus on armies with the current edition's battle tomes. We're in the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar. Some armies still only have their 2nd edition rules, and I don't want to do videos on them until they get their new rules because the videos will go out of date quicker. So join me as we protect the wildwoods with the vengeful Sylvaneth. So why play Sylvaneth? Elf spirits piloting tree husks to protect their woodlands is the epitome of what makes Age of Sigmar so great. While Sylvaneth has a number of ways to play, from magic-heavy builds to oops all tree lords, a lot of people are drawn to this faction because of their models, which I respond to with hard same. Absolutely gorgeous sculpts with a lot of creativity and immense backing from Games Workshop, it guarantees your faction will be thriving with new opportunities, even at the expense of others. Sorry, Skaven. Also extremely beginner friendly with simple 3 to 4 color schemes that can really impress on the table. Now on to the buy list, which I'm really happy to report that this is actually a very simple, straightforward, and fairly cheap option. You take the new Vanguard box, which has a Tree Lord, 5 Tree Revenants that can be built as Spite Revenants, the Branch Witch, and a unit of Kurnoth Hunters. This Vanguard box gives you a whole plethora of options, from 2-liter options to 3 different builds with your Kurnoth. It's a great value box in general, but also works perfectly for the list ahead. Now for the only other purchase for this list, and it's another box of Tree Revenants, just to fill out your battle line, but also Tree Revenants are very good, just as resilient 2-wound battle line that are one of your few options in Sylvaneth. At the end of the day, this list will cost you about $180. Though the Vanguard box will be cheaper upon release in certain spaces. I'm just using the MSRP right now because when this video comes out, the Vanguard box won't even be available until like a week later. So check your dates when you're watching this. But this is one of the few times I highly recommend the Vanguard box for a faction. And now we're on to the list, and we're going to use Gnarlroot as the sub-faction, which is the big magic casty kind of Sylvaneth list I was kind of alluding to earlier. Your Season of War bonus will be the Dwindling, also known as Fall, for your magic-heavy army. Your leaders will be the Branch Witch from the Vanguard box and the Tree Lord Ancient, which is an alternative build of the Tree Lord from the Vanguard box as well. Other than that, you have the 2 units of Tree Revenants and a unit of Kurnoth Hunters, and that comes to $960. The Kurnoth Hunters can be built in 3 different ways, as I mentioned earlier. I put great swords, but if you want bows or scythes, you can also do that because they're the same price. Just do what you like. I actually really like this list because it's straightforward. It gives you a little more magic punch, which baseline Sylvaneth doesn't have, some decent battle line options in Tree Revenants, and some absolute beat sticks in the Kurnoth Hunters. It must be said, I didn't put Awakened Wildwoods in this list because you don't necessarily need it because of the new overgrown terrain feature mechanic that 3rd edition brought to Sylvaneth. I know they can be really hard to find right now, and I didn't want to give new players a headache, but if you want to play a little more serious Sylvaneth or go to 2,000 points, you're going to need those Wildwoods. Another way to fill out this list is, again, Sylvaneth Endless Spells. The Spite Swarm in particular being exactly 40 points to make your list 1,000 on the dot. So that's it! We're firing on all cylinders right now. We have a lot of good battle tomes in the future and more products coming out so I can help review and do these Starting Sigmars. But if there's any other kind of content you want to see, please let us know in the comments. We are working our way to other content like faction focuses for Age of Sigmar, so if you'd like to see a specific faction, let us know as well. As always, this is Rafiq with Swolehammer. Stay swole.